Yes, yes. Why is we pumping his chest? Because Dr. Herman,
they won't come in here and do it.
They refuse to resuscitate him.
Because he still got a heartbeat.
My son has a heartbeat. They told me that they wanted my son's organs.
This is footage of Terrance Howard's desperate family trying to save their son's life while doctors and nurses did nothing.
When they first announced him that he had brain trauma, and I told them that they keep cutting the air off now. They're cutting it off. They're cutting it off. They're controlling it from the outside.
Now they heard him cut it back off because they heard you say it. We see what y'all doing out there. We see you.
That day, Terrance passed away. Just a 19-year-old boy with a world of dreams, hopes, and goals ahead of him. He was a football star and a much-loved son and brother. Now, he left dozens of people devastated and several more outraged at the story his family is sharing.
Son died. Okay.
They wanted his organs.
Wake up for him, son. They don't get their organs. They put one cut on him, I promise you, God.
Howard's mom said simply, "They told me that they wanted my son's organs. They're trying to kill my son because they want his organs." Can this really be? Do we live in a world so dark there are doctors out there who would do this to a teenage boy? Let's explore the tragic story of Terrance Howard. On a rainy night in late July 2024, 19-year-old Terrance Howard was driving from Alabama to North Carolina. The talented cornerback had just transferred from University of Alabama to North Carolina Central University on a full scholarship. As he made his way along the highway, Terrance noticed a vehicle pulled over on the side of the road. Being the kind and helpful young man that he was, Terrance decided to stop and see if the other driver needed assistance. As Terrance exited his vehicle in the pouring rain, he was suddenly struck by another car passing by. The impact flung him nearly 30 feet into the air, causing him to land violently on his head. Terrance suffered severe traumatic brain injuries and was rushed to Atrium Health's Carolinas Medical Center in Charlotte, North Carolina, in critical condition. For the next 2 weeks, Terrance fought for his life in the hospital's intensive care unit as his devastated family prayed for a miracle. But on August 1st, 2024, Terrance T. Howard passed away at just 19 years old, leaving behind heartbroken parents, siblings, teammates, and a community in mourning. In the days following his passing, Terrance's family raised serious allegations of medical negligence and misconduct against the hospital, insisting that Terrance could have been saved if given proper care. What began as a horrific accident spiraled into accusations of organ harvesting, racial profiling, and intentional harm by medical staff. The Howard family's impassioned pleas for justice, broadcasted live on social media, sparked outrage and calls for an investigation. To understand how this devastating situation unfolded, we must start at the beginning, with the bright young athlete whose life was cut too short. Terrance T4 Howard was born and raised in Missouri City, Texas, a suburb of Houston. From a young age, it was clear that Terrance had natural athletic ability and a passion for football. He excelled in both football and track at Ridge Point High School, quickly becoming one of the top quarterback prospects in the state of Texas. Terrance had that rare combination of size, speed, and instincts that you can't just teach. But more importantly, he was respectful, hardworking, and always had a smile on his face.
I just remember his smile, man. He came in my office in May when he came back, and just the hug. He comes in the coach's office and sees him, and then went and talked to the team.
Indeed, Terrance's magnetic personality and leadership on and off the field made him immensely popular with teammates, coaches, and classmates alike. He was known for his infectious laugh, his willingness to help others, and his relentless work ethic in the pursuit of his dreams.
Yeah, I remember practice and just when they were in, because he played corner and in competitive drills, and just, if he did get beat or something, so no, let's go again.
Chancellor Kerry Dixon also released a statement following Terrance's passing, painting a full picture of who he was. A native of Texas City, Texas, Terrance was excited to continue his collegiate football career with the Eagles and foster deep connections with his new teammates. Terrance's contagious excitement, energized personality, and infectious laughter made him someone everyone wanted to be around. He was a dedicated teammate, always ready to support, uplift, and inspire his fellow Eagle to give their best. He was also an avid reader and a lover of country music, often serenading his teammates on the field and during workouts. A committed scholar, Terrance was eagerly looking forward to the academic opportunities that he would encounter in his pursuit of a bachelor's degree in behavioral health and social sciences. He had a strong desire to help others and aspired to build a fulfilling career in the family relation field following graduation. It is always heartbreaking to hear about a kind person's dreams and plans, knowing they can never fulfill them.
You know, he had so much in front of him, a young kid, and he was such a competitor, and like I said, everybody loved him.
It's even more tragic when you consider their life was taken away by a cruel person. Terrance's athletic prowess and character caught the attention of major college football programs across the country. He was ranked as the number 56 overall prospect in the class of 2023 by ESPN and received scholarship offers from dozens of top schools. Ultimately, Terrance decided to accept a preferred walk-on spot at the University of Alabama, joining Nick Saban's powerhouse Crimson Tide program. He wanted to challenge himself against the best of the best. Terrance spent his freshman year at Alabama impressing coaches with his work ethic and raw ability. However, with a loaded depth chart at cornerback, playing time was hard to come by for the young walk-on. After careful consideration, Terrance decided to transfer to North Carolina Central University, where he would have the opportunity to earn more playing time and a full athletic scholarship. Little did he know that the journey to his new school would end in unimaginable tragedy. On the night of July 23, 2024, Terrance was driving from Alabama to North Carolina. The weather was poor, with heavy rain reducing visibility on the highway. As Terrance made his way through Charlotte, North Carolina, he noticed a vehicle pulled over on the shoulder of the road. Despite the dangerous conditions, Terrance's first instinct was to stop and offer assistance to the stranded motorist. But before he could reach the other car, disaster struck. Another vehicle, unable to see Terrance in the rain and darkness, slammed into him at high speed. The impact was catastrophic. Terrance was thrown nearly 30 feet through the air before landing violently on his head. Paramedics quickly arrived at the scene and rushed Terrance to the nearby Atrium Health's Carolina Medical Center in critical condition.
So far, we hadn't got the complete understanding of what all took place. He got out of the car, went to go render aid, to see make sure the person was correct. Okay, I guess he ran back while he was running back to the car. I guess he got in the car, was turned around because of the injuries that he has from the back. It looked like the car hit him from the back and knocked him, about 30 feet or further. Real bad. He landed on his head. He ended up suffering some trauma to his head.
Here's where the second tragedy appears. For the next several days, Terrance's identity remained a mystery to the hospital staff. It would take nearly a week before his frantic family was finally notified of his condition and whereabouts.
I'm gonna get going here with this. Okay, listen, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, here's the news. So, everybody has heard that Terrance was in a tragic accident here right outside of Charlotte, headed back to North Carolina Central, which that's the school that he committed to after he transferred from the University of Alabama.
Terrance Howard Sr. and the rest of T4's loved ones were worried sick. They were calling hospitals and police stations, filing missing persons reports, and asking everyone they knew if they'd heard from Terrance. It was not like him to disappear for days. He spoke to his parents every single day. Finally, on July 29th, the Howard family received the call they had desperately been waiting for, but it was far from the news that they hoped to hear. Terrance was alive, but in critical condition at Carolina's Medical Center with severe brain injuries. The family immediately made the journey from Texas to North Carolina to be by Terrance's side.
The doctors are declaring that his brain position is to the place of non-function. Okay, and in other terminology, they would say he was brain dead. With looking at is a tragedy. It's tragic. They've always been helpful. Y'all know he's gonna help. Now he could have been, if he was an accident, he could have been like a lot of people and kept going. You know what I'm saying? If it's nighttime raining, he didn't have to stop.
For Terrance's dad, the fact that his son was in the hospital after trying to help someone was telling of his personality. He always went out of his way to help others, and this time, he had been paid back in the worst way possible.
Now, I don't know if the person that hit him stopped and rendered aid for him, but somebody called the the ambulance, and they ended up coming out. But he's that type of person. We know him. He'll go do that. Now, this person, Terrance, was injured while trying to help, while trying to be a good citizen. So the type of person he is, you just don't expect this type of energy to come towards him.
It's a sad reminder that bad things happen to good people too. For the next several days, the Howard family maintained a constant vigil at Terrance's bedside, praying for signs of improvement. They also set up a GoFundMe page raising money for Terrance's treatment. They almost reached their goal of $50,000. But all the money and care from his family wouldn't save his life. And his family says this is all on T4's evil doctors. According to the family, they did see some encouraging signs, including leg movements and changes in Terrance's vital signs when they would speak to him. However, the family alleges that the hospital staff seemed intent on convincing them to withdraw care and allow Terrance to pass away. They claim doctors repeatedly told them Terrance was brain dead, despite what the family perceived as signs of life and responsiveness. The doctors were intent on letting Terrance die so they could use his organs. The situation reached a boiling point on August 1st, when the Howard family announced their intention to transfer Terrance to a hospital in Texas for continued care.
They're hoping to bring him back to Texas to get a second opinion.
We just need a hospital in Texas, in Houston preferably. We have to make a level 1 trauma center, a post-trauma center that would be willing to take him in with the prognosis that he has right now.
What happened next would spark national outrage and accusations of horrific medical misconduct. On the evening of August 1st, Terrance Howard Sr. began a live video broadcast on Facebook from his son's hospital room. What unfolded over the next hour was a scene of chaos, desperation, and shocking allegations against the hospital staff.
Yes. Why is we pumping his chest? Because Dr. Herman,
they won't come in here and do it.
They're running out in the hall because
he still got a heartbeat.
My son has a heartbeat. They told me that they wanted my son's organs.
In the video, which quickly went viral, Mr. Howard claimed that the doctors had intentionally given Terrance medication to hasten his death after learning of the family's plan to transfer him.
We're in the hospital right now. Dr. Herman, who's outside, and Dr. Jessica McCool have decided to put something in Terrance's IV to kill him. He's been fine, stable. The moment that we got ready to get him out of here and transfer him, they interfered. And as soon as we got the medical register to give over to the doctors, they came and had somebody come in here and put something in his line.
The video showed Terrance's mother performing chest compressions on her son as alarms blared in the background. Mr. Howard claimed that doctors and nurses were refusing to help, instead standing by and watching as the family tried desperately to keep Terrance alive.
When they first announced him that he had brain trauma, and I told them that they keep cutting the air off now. They're cutting it off. They're cutting it off. They're controlling it from the outside.
Now they heard cut it back off because they heard me say it. We see what y'all doing out there. We see you.
Mr. Howard went on to allege that the hospital's true motivation was to harvest Terrance's organs. He claimed doctors had been pressuring the family to consider organ donation from early on, despite what the Howards saw as signs of life and potential recovery.
Right here at this hospital, Dr. Myers, Dr. Miller, all of them decided to let him die because he was living and they didn't want to be exposed. His feet was, the legs was moving today. Everything was moving on him today, legs and everything. And they knew he had a bowel movement.
The live stream continued for nearly an hour, showing the family's desperate attempts to revive Terrance as they pleaded for help from medical staff. Eventually, hospital security and local police arrived, insisting that the family leave the premises. In the video, officers can be seen trying to convince the distraught family to exit the room as Mr. Howard continues to broadcast. The Howard family refuses to leave Terrance's side, leading to a tense standoff.
You never showed up. You never showed up.
Okay, I'll
You
FaceTime
never
you right
showed
now.
up.
As the situation escalated, Mr. Howard turned to address other families in the hospital.
They all participated in it. Each one of them. Y'all got their names. Y'all got their names. You got your stuff. Where's my they let my son die. Okay.
They wanted his organs.
Wake up for him, son. They don't get their organs. They put one cut on him, I promise you, God. it's going to be a problem.
The video ended with the Howard family being escorted from the hospital by police, vowing to return with lawyers and media attention. Tragically, Terrance T. Howard was pronounced dead shortly after, at just 19 years old. News of Terrance's death and the shocking allegations made by his family spread rapidly across social media and national news outlets. The football communities at Ridgepoint High School, the University of Alabama, and North Carolina Central University were left reeling by the loss of such a promising young talent. Alabama's new head coach, Kalen DeBoer, paid tribute to T4 at a conference.
Guys that are here on this team that, close to him and also thinking about him, but just want to send prayers and thoughts up to his family.
A candlelit vigil was held on the Ridgepoint football field with hundreds of community members gathering to honor Terrance's memory. Former teammates shared stories of Terrance's infectious personality, his dedication to his craft, and his unwavering kindness towards others. As the community mourned, serious questions emerged of the circumstances of Terrance's death and the troubling allegations made by his family. The viral video of the Howards' confrontation with the hospital staff sparked outrage on social media, with many calling for an investigation into potential medical malpractice or misconduct. The accusations of intentional harm and organ harvesting were particularly alarming to many observers. While it's important to note that these are unproven allegations at this point, the raw emotion and specificity of the family's claims resonated with those who have experienced racial disparities in medical care. The allegations raised by the Howard family have sparked a broader discussion about racial disparities in healthcare and the complex dynamics at play in critical medical situations. On one hand, there's a well-documented history of medical mistreatment and experimentation on Black Americans. This historical context means that concerns like those raised by the Howard family resonate with many people's lived experiences and fears. On the other hand, medical professionals and ethicists also point out the intense emotional trauma experienced by families in critical care situations. The stress, grief, and confusion that come with watching a loved one's condition deteriorate can potentially distort perceptions and lead to misunderstandings. Still, most agree that there should be an investigation into this hospital. Terrance's death is all too senseless and cruel if his life could have been saved by these doctors. Atrium Health released a brief statement expressing condolences to the Howard family, but declined to comment on the specific allegations, citing patient privacy laws. They stated that a full internal review will be conducted, as is standard procedure following any unexpected patient death. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg PD confirmed they responded to a disturbance call at the hospital on the night of August 1st, but said no charges were filed. They deferred any questions about Terrance's medical care to the hospital. In the days following Terrance's death, the Howard family has vowed to seek justice and answers about their son's treatment. They have retained legal counsel, and they say they intend to file a wrongful death lawsuit against the hospital. The family is calling for a full, independent investigation into Terrance's care, including a review of all medical records, security camera footage, and staff communications. Terrance always stood up for what was right, his dad says, so they want to honor his memory by fighting to make sure no other family experiences this kind of nightmare. The shocking allegations the Howards raised have ignited important conversations about racial equity in healthcare, patient rights, and the trauma experienced by families navigating complex medical situations. While many of the details surrounding Terrance's final days remain unclear, his story has undoubtedly resonated with people across the country. It's forced us to confront the uncomfortable questions about trust, bias, and compassion in our healthcare system. For now, as investigations and legal processes unfold, Terrance's loved ones are focused on honoring his memory and the bright light he brought into the world during his short time here. The tragic case of Terrance T. Howard reminds us of the preciousness and fragility of life. It serves as a stark reminder of how quickly everything can change, and how a single moment of kindness, like stopping to help a stranded motorist, can have unforeseen and devastating consequences. As the community continues to grapple with this loss, many are looking for ways to ensure Terrance's legacy lives on. His former high school, Ridgepoint, has announced plans to retire his jersey number and establish a scholarship fund in his name. The University of Alabama and North Carolina Central University have both stated they will honor Terrance's memory at upcoming games. As the investigation continues and more details potentially come to light, it's important to remember the young man at the center of this tragedy. Terrance T. Howard was more than just a talented athlete or a promising student. He was a son, a brother, a friend, and a young man with dreams and aspirations that will now go unfulfilled. In the words of his father, Terrance Howard Sr., Terrance always wanted to change the world. Now it's up to us to make sure his death wasn't in vain. We'll keep fighting, keep pushing for change, because that's what T4 would have done. He never gave up, and neither will we. For now, a family grieves, a community mourns, and the world is left to ponder the profound impact of a young life lost far too soon. Hey, thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on this tragic case? Do you know similar stories you'd like me to cover? Let me know in the comment section, and before you leave, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. See you soon, and stay safe.